Hey, amazing friends, I'm with legendary Conrad. How are you today, Conrad?
I'm doing really well, Ed. Thank you for the opportunity to meet you today.
Now, I was just going to say, it's been raining all day. I got to say, the skies look nuts today. What do you think, Conrad?
I think, yep, absolutely right. Spent the whole day at the beach yesterday. Tried to get into the water, but couldn't, obviously.
Now, Conrad, we're friends off camera. We've been talking about this for years. You've worked in management and education for years. I just want to ask you about leadership. What does leadership mean to you, my friend? And tell us what it all means and unpack it for us.
I think leadership is different from management, as we all know. And I think leadership, the most important thing with leadership is that it's leadership by example. And that is, you need to build trust with your people, and you need to be showing you need to be showing the way so that people can follow. If not, no one's going to follow you. So I think the most important thing is that it's leadership by example and building the trust of your people or your troops, so that when you look behind you, you know that people are following you.
I like it. So you brought up the old leadership versus management conflict, I should say, right?
Yeah, okay.
Now we hear this all the time, Conrad. Someone is a manager, but they're not a leader, and then you'll meet someone who's like a 20-year-old who's like the real leader of the room. Can you unpack that a bit for us? What do you think of all that?
Okay, well, I think what happens is, I think perhaps the biggest challenge that managers have when they have the title of manager is that they think that they actually have to manage their people, and they have to micromanage their people and show them exactly what they need to do, when in fact what they really need to do is to be able to give them the guidelines and to show them that, hey, I'm here to facilitate and to be an advocate for you, to give you all the tools that you need so that you can do your work really well, and I'm here to support you rather than crack the whip and be prescriptive, but instead show you the way to go.
That's well said. Now I was going to ask you as well, and we've dealt with this a lot over the years, conflict in the workplace, right? Two people hate each other, two departments hate each other. What do we do in those situations? What's the first thing you want to look at to solve conflict between two people or two teams? What do you look at, Conrad?
I think in that regard, I think one of the most important things is understanding roles and descriptions. And I think when you have a clear description of an individual's role, people need to understand what exactly that you're expecting them to do, to give them the guidelines. And if I understand what my role is and you understand what your role is, I think we have that clear division of responsibility, and it's not grey, then they're going to work really, really well in their swim lanes, if you like. So everyone has a swim lane and everyone works together to have a common objective. And I think communication, that regular communication, so that they understand, with the team, their daily stand-up or weekly stand-up meetings, so everyone understands what they're doing, what's expected. I think it's gonna go a long way if there's rich communication, if you like, not poor communication. Rich communication is to make sure that you actually the leader actually communicates what's expected of the team.
God, Conrad, well said as always. I'm going to say thank you so much for this. I was just going to say, just before we finish, to all my friends, please add and connect and follow Conrad. What are your closing thoughts you want to leave with the evidence? Because it looks like we're about to get rained on now. What are your closing thoughts before we get dumped on with buckets of rain?
I think, as I mentioned earlier, I think one of the most important things in a team is to build that trust, and to have that mutual respect within the team. Within your manager, and for those at the bottom, if you like, to understand that your leader is the leader. And whilst you can have a difference of opinion within a team, and even with your manager or your leader, the leader has the if you like, the veto rights to actually be in a position to be able to give that direction. You may not understand that at the moment. You may not approve of that at the moment, but I think that communication and being able to understand it and trusting those with that particular hat on, I think is going to go a long way.
Oh, Conrad, well said. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you, Conrad.
Thanks, Ed.